Welcome to Movies, Films, and Flix. I am Mark Hoffmeyer, and joining me is a man who rides a wave like he rides a shark. It's Adam Hodgins.
I had been known to ride both a wave and a shark.
Now, this movie that we're talking about, there is no shark riding.
No, they don't jump or ride the shark ever.
But I kind of feel like if you were in a movie, you would.
So I was the most excited last year for Aquaman.
Yeah.
Just because one of the toys that came out was Aquaman riding a shark like a horse. Mm-hmm. And I said, I don't care what else happens in the movie. If that happens, give him the Oscar.
No, that's a great. You know what bummed me out? So we have our episode Sharks in Sweden. Great movie. Mm. We're huge fans of that film.
Huge.
And Dolph Lundgren was in Aquaman, and they put him on a seahorse.
Yeah, they had the moment there, and if they would have had him it would have been a no-brainer to have him straddle a shark and then passively call him one of the names of the sharks from Sharks in Sweden as a nice little nod.
Yeah, that'd have been amazing. But why?
Right.
Do you think they put him on a seahorse because if they put him on a shark, every screen would have just exploded? Yeah,
I think that when you're not the hero of the movie, to have a moment like Dolph Lundgren on a shark, it's such an iconic visual.
I don't want to start any issues here, but do you think in Jason Momoa's contract he wrote, "Do not put Dolph Lundgren on a shark"?
I respect Jason Momoa a lot more than most actors these days. Mm-hmm. And I think he'd be silly not to do that.
That's a shrewd business move.
Yeah, you just do that, right? Yeah. You say I'm kind of like Vin Diesel in the Fast and Furious movies now. I can't even look like I'm losing a fight for a second.
There could be no blood.
No blood.
My skin is impenetrable.
Yeah, I am Iron Man, says Vin Diesel.
Literal Iron Skin Man.
Iron Skin Man.
That's why our last Witch Hunter, they made him immortal. And then in his latest one, I think he's immortal too.
Yeah, so he's a guy who, I don't know, he just, for me, always seems like he's just falls short of being great. Mm-hmm. I think he suffers from what works for some people and not for others, which is, I think he just plays himself in every movie.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody casts Clint Eastwood and says, be something other than what you do, but just Eastwood picks roles that work for him.
And you think Vin does the same?
Yeah, but when I'm watching Saving Private Ryan, I'm like, oh, there's Dominic Toretto in World War II.
Yeah, what's he doing getting shot?
Right.
And why did the bullet just not get spit out of his body?
Right. If I'm watching Pitch Black, I'm like, oh, there's Dominic Toretto in space.
Yeah, drinking Corona.
Drinking Corona. He just plays that one-dimensional guy, but he does it. Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't.
How do you get the lime for his Corona in Pitch Black?
I think they freeze dry it like astronaut ice cream.
That makes a lot of sense. And then he opened up that little package of astronaut food. Yeah. So the limes were in that.
Yeah, I think the limes were in that. I think they. Wow. It's one of those dehydrated limes.
Okay. All right. So I guess we're gonna get into this movie, right? Sunset Shark Club. But I want to tell a story though about how I first learned about this movie because, as you know, on this podcast, you've taught me about movies like Steel Dawn. I mean, you've introduced the world of Rutger Hauer to me. There's Icebreaker, our classic Icebreaker episode, which is, has maybe my favorite riffing ever in MFF history. The kitchen fight.
The kitchen. So when I listen to Icebreaker, the episode, which I do once or twice a week, it's the riffing of you and I retiring and having competing but not angry competing burger shacks.
Yeah, like we work together.
Yeah.
So you know what you can do?
And then reenacting the movie.
Yep.
Once a year, that bit made me feel like that should be a reality at some point.
Yeah, we need to get our coexisting mountain burger joints going, and then a yearly reenactment of Icebreaker. Yeah. With a built-in kitchen that we destroy.
Yeah, for sure.
So when I met you in 2011 in Toronto at a Comic-Con, I was like, I can trust this guy. And I remember I looked at you and I said, hey. I looked you right in the eye and I said, hey, man, we got the big lines over at Deep Space Nine crew. Go over there and tackle it. And you look at me and you go, the one thing about waves, when they come, you just got to look forward and paddle. And I went, I don't know what that means, but I like it. I think you're on fire. Later on, You crush the Deep Space Nine. You actually train the Deep Space Nine actors how to run their own line, which was crazy. And I said, hey, man, we got some issues over at Stan Lee. And you looked at me and you said, Mark, waves are like gusts of wind through the skyscrapers in New York City. They're fast, they're reliable, and they'll blow your mind. And I went, I don't know what that means either. But I was like, go crush it. And you went over there. And it was years later that I learned you were quoting the Sunset Shark Club.
Yeah, so it's some of Swayze's best lines.
Oh, there's so many.
I mean, well, to me, it was the three rules where at the beginning where they established like they're going for their first like shark surf, and then Swayze they like put their hands in. They're like, it starts and stops with us, never involves civilians, and then it was like it ends with the wave.
Wow.
And you don't know what those mean yet, but there was such weight to them, and then those three rules come to play later on. But it's it's Swayze delivered lines in this movie like so. I think this is what I call Swayze's Big Brother trilogy. This is the third one.
Wow. So Red Dawn, Outsiders.
Red Dawn. So I don't consider Outsiders. That's more of an ensemble.
Youngblood.
But I say Red Dawn, Youngblood, and the Sunset Shark Club.
Wow. You're right.
Because he's always doing these movies with these like, again, Outsiders fits in with these younger cast guys and like the 80s Brat Pack kind of guys, but he's always like that few years older that he feels he has a different story than the rest of the characters involved. I feel like in Red Dawn, he was in a different story than the other brothers. Mm-hmm. Like the weight was on his shoulders the whole time.
I mean, he was in his 30s at the time, and then C. Thomas Howell, who's also in this movie, was 20.
Right.
So he is like a big brother in this movie.
So and looking back, when you look at like Annie Potts as the leading lady, they're the
same age too. Did you know that?
I was gonna say I think of her as an older than this crowd because you think of like Pretty in Pink, she was like the Obi-Wan Kenobi of that movie, where she was giving what's her name?
Molly
Ringwald.
Yeah.
All like the advice and like. And then you think of her like in Ghostbusters, she was kind of this like spinster, goofy dork that, you know, was kissing Rick Moranis. Like you're like, what is this? So you don't think of her as like a Brat Pack leading lady, but she's the same age as Swayze, and Swayze playing that bit older character, it works in that context really well.
I really liked their relationship. So in our other shows, in Youngblood, that relationship, that one still blows my mind a little bit. But this one,
I feel icky. I feel icky watching that relationship.
It felt very organic, their love for each other, or how their bond. And also the interesting thing is, all right, so the Sunset Shark Club, they are the protagonists of this film. But if you think about it, this is why I love Bruce Dern's performance as Mayor Francis Manning. And I also love Sheriff Hooker, played by Keith David. And I love Deputy Manaskis, played by Dennis Dunn. I love how these guys are bad influences. They are literally, so the Sunset Shark Club, they go to the most dangerous places on Earth, and they swim. They surf with the sharks at sunset.
Right, at sunset. That's their whole thing is that, because what's his line about death? He says,
I got it.
When you're out there, okay, what is it? Tell me with it.
It was, well, I know when he said, why do you want to die? He said, because I'm afraid of never living. Was that the one?
Yeah, and what he says, when you're out there in the water with those beasts with you.
Oh, yeah. Oh, sorry. I had another quote. There's so many great quotes.
He pauses, and he says, what I'm trying to say is when you swim with death, then you truly feel alive. So it's this idea of like there's these young guys, I want to say without direction in their life, that they're kind of living. You know when you're young, Mark, and you can just believe in something?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Right? When you're in high school, and you're like, oh, this is this cause or this thing that's come up, and it becomes the most important thing. You're like, why aren't my parents so concerned about this one issue? And they're like, oh, because they're adults that pay taxes and have have a grasp on reality. And that's kind of what's going on here with these guys is they're like, we're doing the most, you know, we want to live our life to the fullest, and this is the way we can do it. So it's almost like a drug they're addicted to.
And it kind of worried me a little bit because these are the supposed protagonists, and when you get older, you realize, wait a second, like Ferris Bueller, that guy's kind of a jerk. You realize these guys were really bad influence on the local populace. So I kind of feel for the mayor, and I feel for Keith David's character in this because, yeah, they're the quintessential 80s John Lithgow don't dance and Footloose type guys.
Right.
But they have more, they're more rational than any of the other overbearing fathers in 1980s movies.
I think that like it was a weird thing because there's nobody more hateable than Bruce Dern. Like when he plays a guy that is the villain of a movie, I'm in. Like I buy it. Like I think his best role was in Diggstown, where he played like the crooked, like he wasn't the mayor. He was just like the like ruler of the town through all the he owned everything in town.
And I loved him in the movie Catapult Kings too. Mm-hmm. What do you like? Remember that like '89? It was him. It was Lithgow and a very young Macaulay Culkin. It was, I don't know.
I think Culkin's always very young.
Yeah, you're right. I don't know, but just seeing him in that movie, he was definitely the villain, but I like him. Like, and he did the same in this. Sorry to interrupt with Diggstown, but yeah, we're on the same wavelength here. No, I'm thinking.
Yeah, he was, and again, I think that these guys had the most valid point. Like, it wasn't like in Jaws where it's like, we need these summertime dollars, and they're keeping the beaches open and risking people's lives. These guys are going to your town because there's a high, shark
sightings, I guess, population.
Yeah, they remember in the I think it wasn't the opening scene, but the second to opening scene when C. Thomas Howell's in his Jeep and he yells at the other guys, and he's like, he heard on the radio there was like a shark attack.
Yeah, and then they get running, don't they?
They grab their boards and they're just off. And they're talking to those girls. Remember those girls on the beach?
Yep.
And they're talking to them. And then C. Thomas Howell yells from the Jeep. And they don't even say goodbye. They just go. It's like, you're interesting and you're valid to talk to, unless I could surf with a shark.
And I think the women respected that to a certain extent because it wasn't rude that they ran away. They just had met the people and they had to rush to go.
Yeah, it was
to
like,
surf.
Destiny's calling kind of situation.
And it's funny you mentioned the Jeep, but I love that 1982 Jeep, CJ8 Scrambler that they're driving.
Yeah, it's a cross between like the sand dune buggies of the time and an actual car on the road, and it kind of hits both points. It's the perfect Jeep or like vehicle for those three guys to be cruising around in.
Now, when you were watching this movie, all right, so I came to this movie late, but you probably watched this really young, correct?
Yeah, so this
was released in '86.
Yeah, so this was a movie that my older sister was having friends over at a party, and she said if I didn't tell my parents, I could stay up late and watch the movie with her and her friends. So I watched this when I was like 8 years old.
Did it dawn on you that they are going to a town where someone was just killed by a shark to surf with those sharks, thus sort of pouring salt into the wound?
Well, I know, because I was 8 years old, so I just remember thinking like, I wish I lived in the States. I could get a surfboard. Like this looks like the coolest moment of anybody's life ever, right?
Oh, the cinematography on this by Casper Schmeichel is amazing. Mm-hmm. Like the freedom. I don't know how they got that. I mean, in '86. Yeah, I wish there was a behind the scenes. There's not much behind. I've tried to read a lot about this, find quotes, but I couldn't find anything. But you're right. That's the surfing in this is. I would put it above Point Break.
No, so the surfing was great, and I thought also they did almost a better job. I don't want to. That's almost sacrilegious to say a better job than Jaws, but the way they intercut the shark footage that they went under and got kind of like not stock footage, but they went under and they shot sharks underwater. But the way they spliced that into the surfing scenes, I thought was done seamlessly.
Yeah, you know what? It never felt like B-roll that they purchased from the Discovery Channel or the equivalent back in '86. Yeah, like, oh wow.
Yeah, so that was good.
Can I ask you something?
You can ask me anything.
Okay, so in this movie there are 5 surfing montages, right?
Yes.
I rank them, and then I kind of want to hear what you think your rankings are.
Okay.
So there's 5, but I rank the third one the best because in my notes, what you just said, I wrote, I have no clue how they filmed it and got those sharks. That's my exact note in this.
Really?
Yeah. I have no clue how they could film it. It's really, it's like if Amadeus was a surfer and a cinematographer, that's what his footage would look like.
Yes.
It's just very, I don't know, just beautiful. So the third one, I loved when they did the triple high five. It didn't feel gratuitous. It felt dangerous. The town didn't know about it yet, so there wasn't too much drama involved, so I love that. My second favorite is the first one, just establishing that these guys are great surfers. I would put at number 1 because I love the cinematography, but there's one scene where C. Thomas Howell just kind of has this cocky look on his face. I didn't like it, so it bumped it down to 2 for me. My third favorite one is spoilers. It's when they learn to smile again while surfing.
Yeah. And they found their happy place.
Yeah, and just watching Swayze smile as the sun set was amazing. I love all these, by the way. Then there's the one where, it's like the crying surfing scene. So,
Well, so is that the one where he gets attacked?
Yeah, so this is post-attack when they're surfing again, but they've kind of lost it, and it's just Swayze on a surfboard crying.
Yeah. Oh, the cry surf. Yeah. I
mean, listen, kudos to him for surfing and crying. I can't even stand up on a surfboard, but I don't know. It just felt, the music, it was like it was a very weird score. You're a guitarist.
I ranked these 5 surf montages up with the music that they use as the backing for them.
Okay, perfect. Can I ask you a question about, you're a guitarist. You're a very good guitarist. And actually, in our Dog Soldiers episode, you talk about how you slice one of your fingers open, then use crazy glue to glue it back up, then you play guitar the next morning. Amazing.
Right.
There's a guitar lick during this the cry surfing montage that I swear to you is just like it's the longest. Maybe it starts at the top of the guitar and just goes all the way down. It feels like it's about a minute long, when normally those riffs are about 3 or 4 seconds.
Yeah. So it's in the time when Clapton was doing the soundtrack for Lethal Weapon.
Oh yeah.
Remember, the whole thing was just kind of Clapton noodling away with it, just his guitar tone. So they got a guy named Steve Morse, and so it was an instrumental by Steve Morse, who was the guitar player for I believe it was Deep Purple.
Wow. Oh wow. Jam band?
I think, yeah.
Wow, Deep Purple.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the band he played for. But so he was a guy. So he was doing all the guitar work in that montage, and so he was just kind of doing outside the box stuff. Yeah. And in an interview I saw where they talked, the only thing I could find about this movie, behind the scenes stuff, was a Steve Morse interview, and he said, it's interesting you bring the riff up. I wasn't going to go there because I sometimes try to steer away from guitar trivia because I don't want to be here's something I love, but. He said that he wanted to do stuff in this soundtrack that the guys in the band would never let him do.
Oh, wow.
So it was the guys in the band were we need to make a commercial hit. We need to do Smoke on the Water. We need to do stuff that's going to sell. And in this moment, he's I really wanted to explore. And so that riff you're talking about, I know exactly what you're talking about. Steve Morse said he was trying to mimic Whale Song on an electric guitar.
Oh, I can see that.
He's trying to that kind of whaley noise. That's what he was trying to get back into with that guitar riff.
I thought it was going to end 5 times.
Yeah, no, he kept going for it. So that's kind of his style, though. He just really goes for it.
It's just, in montages, I'm so used to quick cuts.
Yeah.
But in this one, since that guitar lick was so long, they just had to keep the camera on Patrick Swayze floating in the water, crying.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I rewound it and I watched it without the insane Steve Morse guitar lick. And
right.
I realized that guitar lick, as adventurous as it was, and I do think later on in the 80s, movies like, Better Off Dead, movies like, Don't Throw the Person Out the Window, they really mimicked this. But at the time, I think it took away from his performance a little bit. Do you think so?
Yeah, no, I think he was trying. I think the filmmakers were trying to create one moment, and Steve Morse was trying to create another.
Did they give him creative freedom on this? Because,
well, this was filmed and produced with such a ramshackle, breakneck speed, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was. It's funny, but they wanted to release this to combat Top Gun
because of Swayze's hotness.
Right. They thought because Top Gun was being released that summer as well. And so they wanted to get this done in time so that it could compete and get that Top Gun money. But I think what happened is it got to the box office and people just went and saw Top Gun instead.
Yeah, I have no time for the Sunset Shark Club.
Right. I can see it. But is there anything more 80s than killer sharks and fighter jets?
None. Only if they're in the same movie together. Only if when Goose and Cruz landed in the water, killer sharks got them.
Right.
Oh my gosh,
that didn't happen.
No.
That would have been amazing.
I do want to say, I think a lot of credit goes to Anne O'Shea and Bobby Tambor, the writers of this.
Mm-hmm.
Because like you said, this movie had to happen in no time. And
right.
I'm a big fan of their stuff in the late 70s to 80s. They wrote that movie Pain is Temporary, and then they did the other movie When the Trumpet Stops. I loved She Screamed for Silence with Meryl Streep. That got her nominated for an Oscar. Really beautiful work. But the movie, we've talked about this before, but I don't know if you remember this, but they also wrote Crimson Longitude, that, like cannibal shipwrecked on a boat with like Gary Busey, Keith David, Amy Peterson, Bill Paxton, Vernon Wells, and Radon Chong. That movie, they wrote that script in, I think, 3 weeks, the screenwriting duo. So when the studio heard about their quickness of writing Crimson Longitude, which was, everyone loves that movie, they said, we need a script in 2 weeks. And Anne O'Shea and Tambor, they locked themselves away and they knocked it out in 2 weeks.
Right. And so originally, it was just going to be a surfing movie.
Yeah.
That was going to be it. And it was like halfway through the process where they said, like, it's missing something. There's what's going to be the draw to set this apart from any other extreme sports movie, like, the Dogtown Boys, where they're like the skateboarding movie. And so they just said, like, let's just bring Jaws into it. Let's just put Jaws into the surfing movie. And that was it. That was the ticket. And they said after that, it kind of wrote itself. Yeah.
The first title for the script was When the Boys Come to Town. And it was just a surfing picture.
Right.
And then it became the Sunset Shark Club.
And I think that's why the villains, the antagonists of this movie are a little bit, I don't know, there's a duality there of like, well, are they, even though they're, everything I know about them is that they are the bad guys, the adult in me is like, no, they're also right.
Because do you think they were written as right to begin with, but then they had to throw in a couple lines to make them not right?
I think originally it was just like some dude surfer boys coming to town, and then he falls in love with his daughter, and then she's hanging out with no good nicks, and the dad is like I want more for you than this, and she's just like, I want love. Yep. And so, but that's a story we all know and we can all relate to, and it was more like a coming of age film, but then the introduction of the sharks, you're like, no, this is a very bad. Don't go surfing with sharks. Like, don't do it.
Yeah. And then when he told them not to, everyone's like, get a grip, old man. And you're kind of thinking, what does he have to get a grip on?
Right. Well, and then when C. Thomas Howell dies, when he he gets attacked and he doesn't make it, and then Bruce Dern thinks, okay, finally, now these boys will leave. And then Patrick, that's where rule number 3 comes in, right? It ends with the wave. And so whatever happens when they're in the ocean, it ends with the wave. And so he says that was his choice. That was, he knew the risks going in. And if I stopped now, if I let his death stop me from doing what we love, then he would be upset. That's not what he would want.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like an irresponsible thing, It's like when, a tragic death of a teenager from drunk driving happens or something like that. And then their friends are like, okay, well, we're going to go out and in memory to him, drink his favorite alcohol in excess. And I was like, well, maybe learn from his mistake as opposed to, embrace it. But that's what he did. Swayze was like, I can't stop now.
And he wanted to kill the shark.
The sharks will win.
He wanted to kill so they're in the shark's territory.
Yeah.
And I do love that his character's name is Chad White and C. Thomas Howell's character is Mitch White, and he was killed by a great white. I mean, I love that. Now, he went out there with a knife waiting for that shark to attack him. But that was a 25-foot great white.
Yeah. Only Jason Statham could kill that shark with a knife.
Yeah. And so, at the end, the two find a peace, right?
Yeah. And again, both will have scars. The shark has a scar in his flesh, and Patrick Swayze has a scar in his heart.
Yeah. That was the original tagline for the poster.
Right, but it gave away the ending.
Yeah, they realized after the first couple, they're like, yeah, this doesn't work.
So Debbie at the end leaves with Swayze in the Jeep, and she brings her surfboard. Do you think, it's like, remember at the ending of Desperado where he throws his guitar case away?
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm done. And then they back up and pick up and go again. And they're like, just in case. So at the end of this, they kind of make their peace and he's done with the sharks. But do you think within a month, him and Annie Potts are back like surfing with the sharks?
I think within a month they're doing it. Within a year, one of them's dead.
Yeah.
Because they're not just, anytime you're surfing, you're technically surfing with sharks, correct? Because they're somewhere.
They're somewhere.
Unless you're on a lake.
But, yeah, unless you're in Canada.
Yeah. Or there was a lot of surfing in Sheboygan, Wisconsin. I don't know. It was featured in a documentary called Step into Liquid. That's where I grew up. They used to surf on the Great Lakes.
That's amazing.
But the giant squids out there got people.
Oh, man, I love giant squids.
Yeah.
Like, I love that we've never seen one, but we know they're there.
They're watching.
We've seen like dead ones and parts of them and evidence of them, but we've never seen, like, there's no footage of a giant squid.
Never. They're there.
It's crazy. Oh, no, 100%.
I mean,
like, sharks will come up with big, round squid tentacle attacks on them, but no squid. Like, I love it. I love it so much. But yeah, so I think that you're always swimming with a shark, but these guys went to ground zero.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like walking at midnight alone is always dangerous. But
how would Dolph and JCVD done in this movie if they starred in it? Like, either or. Who would do a better job? Dolph or JCVD in the Swayze role?
I want to say Dolph. Now, I love JCVD. I love me some JCVD. But I see Dolph. He's a little bit more of a surfer look. I can buy his accent more than Jean-Claude Van Damme's accent.
No, they would just have to make him like Devereaux from New Orleans.
And if it was Dolph Lundgren, they could have used Back in the USSR as a song on the soundtrack.
What did you think about? There's one original song in this movie, and it's by the band Genesis.
Yep.
And the name of the song is "I See It" with "I-C" with an A.
Yep.
It. What did you think about "I See It" over the the credits at the end?
I didn't hate it. I didn't think it was Phil Collins' best. But the lyric in there where it said "Your love grabbed me like jagged teeth and wouldn't let go."
Yeah, that was great.
I thought that was a clever line.
And then that one part when he's like, "If you've never had your heart broken, how could you break the surf?"
Yeah. It's a very 86 song, and this broke the door open for Phil Collins to be like, "Yeah, I can write a soundtrack. I can do Tarzan."
I do. The one problem I have with that song is there's a part when he says the word "about," and I think he adds about 6 O's and 5 U's into it.
Yeah, but I'm from Canada, so we're okay with that.
No, but you guys don't draw it out as long.
No, we say a boot.
Yeah, and like about, a boot, Uma, Oprah, same thing. But when he kind of went about that within his voice, I don't know.
Right.
It felt like that long guitar lick to me. It felt like, man, I don't know. What was he rhyming about? I don't even remember what he rhymed about with. Trout?
No, it wasn't trout. What was the line?
About you?
Yeah.
When you pout?
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, really elementary rhyming.
Wasn't it shout?
Yeah, it was. Yep. When you're about to shout. Wait. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. It wasn't Phil at his best, but it was better than the Steve Morse guitar choices made earlier in the film.
Hey, how about this? Let's take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll talk more Sunset Shark Club. Welcome back to Movies, Films, and Flicks. And it dawns on me, I wasn't able to finish the ranking of my surfing montages. Do you want to? No, I mean, there's only one left.
Yeah.
And it's the one with the Beach Boys song.
Mm-hmm.
It was Surfing, everybody, like Surfing USA. Right. It. But it had a very weird vibe. It felt like the top, like, you remember in Top Secret skeet shooting music video where everyone's just having a lark of a time?
Yeah.
And it was just that Beach Boys song over them taking children into shark-infested waters to surf.
You know what it reminded me of?
What?
Remember the movie Bonnie and Clyde with Warren Beatty?
Oh, yeah. Great movie.
And so there's this like banjo car chase soundtrack that plays.
There is.
And in the first half of the movie, it's like fun. It adds a bit of like levity, and they're like, "Oh, here we go. We're having a great time. We're robbing banks." But by the end, it was almost like an ironic, like, It gave the opposite feeling.
Yeah.
No, you know what I mean? And I think I think that's what the Surfing USA here was like, this is a fun song. Surfing's a fun thing. This is not a fun moment.
This is a very deadly moment.
Yeah. So, question for you.
Let's hear it.
The original. Oh my goodness, my cat.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does that. The original choice wasn't C. Thomas Howell.
Wow, who was it?
It was going to be. It was Rob Lowe was the first choice.
I like.
And so, do you think it would have been?
Oh man.
Do you think it would have been too similar to Youngblood?
Okay, I think C. Thomas Howell added more of a. He's very good in this movie. I know we haven't really covered him much. I mean, Swayze's always great, and I'm pretty sure he has a 9-pack in this movie. But C. Thomas Howell added a vulnerability to it. And as much as I like Rob Lowe, and I think he did a good job in Youngblood, The Outsiders as well, he just, or Rumblefish, Outsiders, Rumble, whatever. But I liked C. Thomas Howell had a very interesting, above his years, sort of, he was very sage. He was very, an old soul, very vulnerable. And I like that in his character because this movie would have been tragic if, for instance, C. Thomas would have played this as a naive kid who just looks up to Swayze.
Right.
But C. Thomas, I think, was smart enough to play it as a world-weary kid who had seen... Oh, so you remember that flashback scene, which they go back to show Bill Paxton actually played their dad, which is pretty amazing. And his name was Dave Blue White, and he plays their dad. And you can see just the rough life that they had, where they never left anywhere. And he worked a very dangerous job, Dave Blue. He was like a coal miner. And so you have this guy that is doing this really hard work. He's very angry, but he never moves. So he's doing yes, he's providing for his kids, but he's also risking his life in the process to do it. You know?
That comes back when Annie Potts is talking to a mourning Patrick Swayze, and he says, "My dad risks his life every day.
Yeah.
I'm doing the same thing. I'm just doing something I enjoy."
Wow. And then I like the look she gives him, though. I think he's been so selfish with his pursuits. And he's probably left carnage around the world because people know about him. How many people have tried to surf with sharks with him around?
Well, and again, it was in the era of so like now in 2019, everybody knows everything, right? There's but there's like the 80s myths. Like you probably heard when you were a kid, like if you pop rocks and Coke, if you drink them, your head will explode. I knew a guy who did it. Or like, double bubble gum has spider eggs in it. My friend knew a guy who did. And so there was these like very consistent myths and lores around going, but nobody could prove anything.
Nothing.
So when you heard like there's this team of people that just go from town to town surfing with sharks, but the myth becomes bigger than it actually is, and you get the copycats.
Yep. And I mean, we never hear about that in the movie, but there has to have been copycats.
Yeah. No, there has to have been. See, I think that would have been the perfect sequel, is a sequel without any of this cast, but it's just like the copycats. It's the other guys are like, oh, I heard this, that last year these boys were here swimming with shark, and so then they try and start up a new Sunset Shark Club.
It's like The Shallows. That was a direct, like a spin-off. The director loved that movie so much growing up. He made a movie about a lady going surfing and getting stuck with a shark. I don't know if you know about that.
I didn't know that. I do love that movie.
So good. And okay, how old was Swayze in this movie?
So it was 86.
So he was 34 when the movie was made. 33, 34, maybe. When it's 33 when it was made, 34 when it was released. But his character, I felt like, was 27.
Yeah.
He looked... The good thing about Swayze in the 80s, he was 35, but he could play at 26.
Right. Yeah, he could play any role, really. And like if you think about it, nothing he can't do.
So I guess I have to get into his psyche as a 26-year-old, not 34-year-old Patrick Swayze. Right. So this kid's 26. We don't hear... There's not much backstory. Aside from that one flashback, these kids are we learn about them by their actions, not their... There's no expository dialogue, which I really like. We learn about C. Thomas Howell being a good kid because he shares his food with Swayze. And no dialogue is shared. And their friend Pete Waters, played by Brad Savage.
Yeah.
They really looked out for him too. And I liked when they stopped for gas.
So I feel like they kind of pure adopted him.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. They picked him up somewhere. I don't want to know where, because that'd be weird.
We get the little insight into the father who, like, again, working in the coal mine, risks his life every day for nothing. And so you get these two kids that are like, risking your life is just what we do, but we want to enjoy what we're doing. So I think they're living their perfect life. Like this is their ultimate. They've arrived. This is what they want to achieve.
And I guess they do make money. They do have sponsors in this, so it's enough to keep them moving around from town to town.
Well, it's like they go, and then they put on their, like they kind of alluded to at that the beach party there.
Yeah.
That, you know, they would go and they would do tricks and jumps and dares, and they would kind of not grift, but kind of like make their money that way as well, right?
Mm-hmm. And when the paparazzi were there, remember C. Thomas Howell put that hat on Patrick Swayze for Body Glove?
Right.
That was a good character moment, and to show that they get sponsorships.
Right, and the look on Swayze's face where he's like, "This is the thing about my life that I hate the most." Like, get this. Like when the camera was gone, he threw that hat down. Like he just didn't get this off. This isn't who I am.
He's like Andy Samberg from that song. I threw it on the ground.
Exactly. He threw it on the ground.
I don't care about your money.
Right? Exactly.
Now, I didn't like that about him, though.
Did you think?
Yeah, what?
Okay, did you think that the dance scene between Annie Potts and Swayze was a little bit shoehorned in there?
There was, okay. I noticed.
Because this is the year before Dirty Dancing.
I have some notes here. And how many hip swivels do you think Patrick Swayze did during this dance scene? I'll give you 3 guesses.
I want to say 8.
Keep going.
Was it 12?
Keep going.
16. It had to be an even number with the way you were doing that move.
Ask Megan.
I guess so. I guess they could just
like. So, first and foremost, I have a lot of respect on him because the amount of camera angles. So how many? They had about 8 different cameras rolling on him during this dance scene, and he just kept hip swiveling.
So do you think it's the thing where they had 8 cameras on him and he did 10 hip swivels and they just played it from different angles?
Yeah, you know what? That's a good. Yeah, they could have done that. But I heard he didn't want to do a full like Kevin Bacon Footloose dancing in the sand because of his ankles.
Right.
Because we know sand is notorious.
Right. I thought the angry surfing montage was like the Kevin Bacon moment of the movie. It was kind of like the punch dancing.
He kept slapping the water.
Yeah.
So many slaps of water. How many times do you think he and Pete Waters slapped the water? I didn't count that. 13?
It had to be up there. Like it became a thing where it was like they were physically fighting with their anger is what was happening. Right?
It kind of manifested itself into water slaps.
Yeah, and it wasn't them. It wasn't the shark that killed their friend and brother. It was the ocean itself. That's what I got from that.
And so they're punching the ocean.
Yeah.
But they needed that breakthrough to stop hunting the shark.
Yeah, that was the thing where they came to. I feel like it was again, like you said, a lot dialogue wasn't there, but these moments were, and you had to kind of read between the lines. But I think they came to this like cathartic moment of this is just what we do. And then he said to him, like it ends with the waves. When the waves are done, it's over, and we can't be angry about this because the waves are over.
I know I'm going back to the dance scene, but all right, there's an extra in there. And I want to know if you noticed this extra in it. I think, knowing you saw this extra.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah, and the dance
Was it the
move.
guy with the acid wash jeans?
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
What dance would you call that?
I would call that. Do
you know?
I think I'd call. Sorry, that's a great question, Mark. To name a dance move as you're watching it.
I feel like he was doing the tug of rope, like, so he's the first person when you're doing tug of rope. And so you're kind of pulling hand over hand, but he's part of like the winning group that's running backwards, if that makes sense. But he's in one spot the entire time.
Yeah. So I would call it like the moon rope because he's kind of doing a moonwalk kind of thing.
Yeah. He wasn't getting much purchase on the sand with his feet.
No, he wasn't. It wasn't something. So when Michael Jackson did the moonwalk, within 8 days, every kid in America could do it. Mm-hmm. I don't think anybody tried to do the moon rope.
Nope, no one did the moon rope. And okay, so you're a production designer. You're the director of this. Simon Windsor directed this, who would go on to great things. I like. Okay, I don't know why they chose that beach, because they filmed in California, correct? Yeah, they filmed in California.
Yeah.
They should have found somewhere with tighter packed sand for that beach party, because while watching all the kids partying, that was some deep sand.
Yeah.
And I think that's why he did so many hip swivels, because your feet remain planted in the ground.
Absolutely.
I'm doing this because I just went walking. I just went to Florida and I had to step in that squishy sand, and I've tried to run in it. Man, that's tough on your calves.
Now the thing about that though is that Swayze was so like adamant about it, because it was like I think the third or fourth day of shooting, he did roll his ankle in the sand.
Oh yeah.
And that's why Don Swayze had to come in and shoot some of his surfing scenes.
I noticed that. A different kind of haircut. The hair hangs differently.
Yeah.
And
and I'd say Don wasn't quite as cut as Patrick.
Yeah.
Like he's still in great shape, but he's just not quite as cut.
Swayze has an 8-pack in this one.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I don't even think he worked out back in the day. I just think Swayze was Swayze.
Yeah.
And man, his surfing though. Do you think that's why he? There's no research in this movie. Even the IMDb page, look it up. The Sunset Shark Club IMDb. You'll see no trivia. But I think by him being the brother figure in this and a surfer and spouting all this dialogue about. I mean, a lot of this dialogue is definitely from a first time script. There's one time when he wrote, "When I surf, I don't talk. When I'm talking, I'm not surfing."
Right.
Which I get. And then he also said, let's see, waves are like time, and time is the tide. Like, he keeps saying this stuff. So when they were hiring for Point Break, they're like, we need a surfer who can be a mentor. And I think this got him the role. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I didn't put those two connections together, but I think you're absolutely right. I did like the moment where she said, "You're awfully quiet when you're on the water," and he says, "I'm only ever quiet when I'm doing two things." And then he kind of like winks at her.
What are those two things?
Well, I think one is surfing and one is something else. I think that was his very subtle flirting with Annie Potts there.
I mean, it's a movie, so it works.
Yeah. So again, that's a line. If you said that, Megan would never talk to you again.
Never. But Swayze said it somehow that didn't make it seem like he was a serial killer.
Right.
Because that's a serial killer thing to say.
So he has what I call the Brad Paisley effect.
What?
So you know Brad Paisley, the country singer?
Yeah, he's friends with Peyton Manning.
He is friends with Peyton Manning. That guy says stuff in songs that nobody else could get away with, but he's so like unassuming and like adorable that people just like, yeah, it's okay, it's just Brad Paisley. It's fine.
I love those songs, by the way.
But like he has a song like I Want to Check You for Ticks. If anybody else sang that song, it would be like, this is like, how dare he? Like, but it's just Brad Paisley. Yeah, it's still Brad Paisley.
That's not a song.
Yeah, Ticks.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is. Look up the lyrics right now. You'll blow your mind.
I don't know, man. I don't know if I want to do it. I want to check you for ticks.
Wow. Swayze has that same appeal.
Yeah. I don't know, man. This movie, I don't think people realize how much heavy lifting he had to do in this film. A script that was written in 2 weeks, lots of physicality. He had a rolled ankle in this.
Yeah.
He had to have an 8-pack. He also, he got better than the surf instructors 2 days into training. Then he took over the surf instructing job because this was so low budget.
Well, they just fired them.
Yeah. They're like, well, we obviously don't have to pay you. We're already paying Swayze. See ya.
Right.
And, so, I'll tell you though, C. Thomas Howell, he looked very, in that movie Rookie of the Year?
Yeah, do I know?
Where,
did you say funky butt loving?
Yeah, Thomas Ian Nicholas throws the baseball, very goofily looking, but it goes over 100 miles an hour. Right. That's the way it is in the movie, just his mechanics. C. Thomas Howell's mechanics were kind of like that, but I believed his surfing because he actually did surf.
Yeah, and again, he looked like a guy who was really good at his craft, but didn't learn the conventional way.
Yeah,
you see that with a lot of guitar players. That especially now with like YouTube lessons, and you don't need to take a lesson or buy a book. You can just stay at home and learn to play guitar. But you'll learn not bad habits, but weird habits. And so people can look really goofy, but their results are fine.
that explains most of my life.
Yeah.
No, so there is that line, right?
Doyle Bramhill III.
Yeah.
Right. Doyle Bramhill III couldn't afford a left-handed guitar, so he plays right-handed guitar upside down. Not like Hendrix played upside down and switched to strings. He just plays everything upside down because that's how he learned. So it's super awkward and weird looking, but he's fantastic.
Wow. And that makes great sense because remember that throwaway line where C. Thomas Howell said something about how you never trained me correctly?
Yeah.
So I guess he isn't that great of a mentor because he never taught his brother really the proper mechanics of surfing.
Well, but he responds back with, he says, you never trained me properly. And he says, when you thought I was teaching you how to surf, I was teaching you how to live.
Yeah.
Which then leads him to his death, which is a play on moves. But you could tell that Swayze really, it was, I think the whole Sunset Shark Club thing, and I don't know if there was a deleted scene that went into this more or not, but I think that was his way to stay with his brother after his dad died, to ensure they stayed together.
Yeah, you're right. Which is kind of makes Swayze even worse, right?
Well, I don't think he's only 26. Like, his character's only 26.
Yeah, I keep thinking 34. You're right. Yeah.
Right? Like, at 26, I did some pretty stupid things.
Yeah,
thinking I was doing good stuff.
I still remember that nose ring of yours.
Yeah. It was embarrassing buying it and not having the nerve to get it pierced. Just having it in my pocket.
Yeah, you spent $2,000 on it.
It was nice.
But, okay. Now, another thing about this movie. Do you think its 56% tomato meter score is correct? Do you think this is a 56% movie?
I think it suffered from being a whole lot like other things that were out at the time.
Yeah, I can see that. So, but I do think it's 56 seems fair.
Yeah, like but I think, and again, I think that if it didn't come out the same weekend as Top Gun, I think it would have done better. Mm-hmm. But I think, visiting it later and a failure at the box office has to have an effect on what people think of the movie. It has to.
Yeah.
That's my John Carter math. That thing bombed at the box office, but I think it's a much better movie than people let it be known for.
I love that movie. And I grilled James Purefoy about it on the set of The Following, the pilot episode.
Really?
I had to wrestle with him all day. I was working as a crew, and they made me play a cop, and I had to drag him out of a prison cell. I had to really he had a real handcuff, so I had to unhandcuff him, handcuff him to his waist, and carry him out of a room. So in between takes, sometimes I'd ask him about John Carter. Just want to let you know that.
Did he hate that?
No, he loved it. He loved talking about it. He's like, I was supposed to have a bigger role in the sequel, and yada yada yada. So I mean, we had fond memory. I didn't push hard. It started going organically throughout all that stuff. But also,
so if you gave me a magic wand right now,
yeah,
and said, Adam, with this magic wand, you can make any sequel to any movie happen right now, it would be John Carter.
Why is that?
I want more of that world. I want to see what happens next.
Sorry, I lost you there.
Sorry.
All right. I'll say why is that, and then you want to get going?
Yeah.
Cool. Sorry. So why is that?
I love that movie so much, and I think there's so much more story to tell. And I want to see more of that world, more than any other movie that hasn't had a sequel.
It looked beautiful. The production design was great. I like Taylor Kitsch. That'd have been good.
Oh, great. And I loved everybody. I loved everybody in that movie.
This movie, though, so a lot of people look at John Carter as being a flop, right? And to a certain extent, it lost money.
It did lose $200 million.
Yeah, it was a flop. But this movie, it made $30 million worldwide on a $23 million budget. But right, I got to tell you,
it didn't lose money.
Where did the $23 million budget go?
Here's the thing. It's like at that point in time, Swayze wasn't a huge ticket yet, was he?
No, not yet.
And C. Thomas Howell, was this before or after Hitcher?
That's a very good question. Wasn't Hitcher 87?
Hitcher was 80. It's the same year as Hitcher. It was 86.
Oh, wow.
So he wasn't a big ticket yet either.
No.
So maybe Bruce Dern got some of it, but I think it just got eaten up in anytime you're filming something like a surfing movie or like that has these big choreographed, like you're dealing with the elements. You got to wait for the waves to be right. I think that slows down production a lot.
That's what I was thinking, because it said they started filming this in May and it didn't wrap until September. So for a tiny picture on this, May, June, July, August, like September, that's a long shooting schedule for this little film. So that nature must have been a problem. And then because of that, you had the rental equipment out longer. You're having to pay for more hotels. You have more crew, stuff like that.
And like film isn't cheap. This is back when film was a thing.
Yep.
And it was like they had to get the surfing scenes exactly right. So I think that there was a lot of just filming. I think there's a lot of Swayze falling off his surfboard B-roll somewhere.
This trailer though that they cut, it kind of blows my mind that it didn't do better, because it's one of the there's no Steve Morse music in it. It is an all-timer trailer. Would you say? I mean, I looked through IMDb, and the only award it won was a editing award for the trailer, which they've been giving out. No, these are things you really get this, and I gotta say, just I don't know, it was ahead of its time. It didn't feature the in a world where men surf with sharks, or meet Bobby, he's a surfer who surfs with sharks. This one. It had this really haunting music, and it made it feel more like a drama.
I think they were like pushing on the the shark jaws thing, right? So they kind of made it more of like a thriller suspense trailer, even though it was like a fun 80s movie. They wanted to like capitalize on like, hey, you're gonna get a scary shark movie, which didn't really happen. Like there was a dramatic scene where C. Thomas Howell got killed, but it wasn't like a haunting, stalking shark. It was just kind of out of nowhere, and the sharks were almost made to be like, they're dangerous, but like we're surfing with them kind of in jest.
Did this movie need the decapitation?
No, I don't think so.
That probably costed some millions, because it was R-rated.
Yeah, no, it was. So I think that too. If this was a PG movie, I think that you would have got those summertime dollars.
They should, like, all they had to do was just swallow C. Thomas is little. That was a 25-foot shark. Swallow him whole. Right. You don't need a severed head. Right.
That could have been a whole thing too. Is that if they would have done swallowed him whole, but there's just no body. There's a surfboard, no body. That when they went back out surfing, they could have been looking for the body.
Yeah, but instead they just made a little head pop out, full of blood. Now, I have a question. So I read this article on JoeBlow.com. And since I came to this movie so late, I'm not really familiar with it. But when they edited this for TV, because this is quite a long movie. This is a very long film. It's surprisingly
especially for the 80s.
Yeah, surprisingly long. So I read for the TV edits, and I don't know if you remember this, but in the TV edits, they canceled out a lot of the scenes with Dennis Dunn being an alcoholic deputy and his kind of crush on Annie Potts. They cut a lot of that out, and they added in a scene where this little guy named Ricky joins the Sunset Shark Squad, and they teach him how to surf in shark-infested waters. That was on the TV cut. Did you ever see the TV cut? Because they didn't put. So now on the DVD, on the DVD, it's back to Dennis Dunn's alcoholism, but on the TV cut, it's
and the
Little
weird
Ricky.
Annie Potts thing.
Yeah, it's like Little Ricky in the TV cut back in the 90s. You've heard about this though, right?
Yeah, no, I knew there was like a weird TV edit version of it, and I love TV edited versions from the 90s. I think they're fantastic. One of my favorite things in the world is that when you buy the Scarface Platinum Edition, you can watch the TV edited version.
Oh wow, that's funny.
It's amazing. But anyways, so yeah, I didn't see it. I'm aware of it. I would have loved to see it. I think that kind of stuff is neat, but. I thought the Annie Potts crush thing was weird, with the dynamic between him and the mayor. But yeah, I think it was in a time when a PG versus an R, you either had to go hard R or not. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And PG could let you get away with some stuff. Like sometimes we'll put movies on that I remember as the kid, like as a child with fond memories, and I'm watching with my kids, and I'm like how was the Goonies rated PG?
Yeah, there's some. Yeah, well, after what Gremlins came out, then
was it Gremlins or was it
Last
Indiana
Crusade?
Jones?
Yeah, it was one of the after that year PG-13 was created.
Right.
So you had some so that I don't like a lot of those lists where they say PG movies that are crazy. And it's like, well, that's easy. Do PG movies after 87.
Right.
I actually wrote that article for Cracked.
Nice. I like your little selfless plug.
Yeah, that's right. Go read the article. Mark Hoffmeyer, correct. But I mean, yeah, I don't know. It's just this R rating. This movie's what, 2 hours and 17 minutes.
Yeah, no, and so I've been on the record of like, I love a long movie.
Yeah.
Like I feel like I'm getting my money's worth out of a long movie. So I like that about this movie. I just like escaping into that world for a good amount of time. But yeah, I think here's a question for you, Mark.
Mm-hmm.
Would you be excited if they in 2019 were like, we're going to make a sequel to Midnight Shark Club, or do you think it's perfect just the way it is?
It's perfect the way it is.
Right.
I don't see how that footage can get any better. I think Attenborough saw this and figured out how to shoot, Planet Earth.
Yeah.
I think there's a purity to it. I think it was rushed, but it also wasn't rushed, but then the edit was rushed. So you have this rushed script, then you have a very long shooting schedule, and then you have the edit that takes 3 days, and it's in the theaters. This movie would have to be like a 47 meters down or a Shallows type thing. It couldn't, there are scenes in this film that just ruminate. Like Annie Potts and Swayze, that dinner where, it's a fancy dinner, and then she's laughing at him because he doesn't like fancy things. But then it just turns out
he doesn't know how to do it, right? Like he picks the wrong fork, and he doesn't like even the idea of like an appetizer. He's like, why can't I just get a meal? Why do I gotta do it in stages?
I don't think when she looks at him and goes, is this about the restaurant or about you? And I don't know, he kind of got it. Like you have a scene with full on character development. I don't think audiences would want to watch that now.
No, I don't think so.
Like it's just that dinner scene was 15 minutes long.
But again, I don't think that his character, like in 2019, would exist like not knowing about fancy dinners, right? Like even if I don't eat a lot of fancy dinners, the world is at my fingertips and I'm aware of them.
Now, he would be famous online.
Oh, huge. He would be like our version of the Urban Ninja. Wow. So that was the thing too, that like watching this movie, I sometimes forget. I'm like, GoPros didn't exist. So they had to like, for some of those surfboard scenes, they had to mount like a full out camera on this guy's surfboard. And it made it
top notch.
Right? So it makes it harder to control. Like the fact that you could even get that thing upright was crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Casper Schmeichel, dude, that guy's a great DP.
You gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know. I guess it wouldn't be good, man. This movie has a purity to it. So yeah. I don't want to see it be remade. But, I mean, I guess there is a certain thing to remaking movies that aren't that good.
Right.
And not classics.
But again, if they couldn't nail the Point Break remake, they would never be able to touch Sunset Shark Club.
Yeah, you're right. Because it's a sensitive movie.
Well, here's the thing. It's a coming-of-age story. It's actually a fairly good romance story. It's a dealing with death story.
Yep.
And it's also it's also like this whole Swayze becoming a man situation. So you get Annie Potts and her like being okay with not being under her father's umbrella. And so there's just a lot going on here framed by surfing with sharks.
And I do love the visual. I mean, it's very obvious, but I do like the scene on the beach where her father has a prime umbrella spot with great chairs. And she moves to the ramshackle area of the Sunset Shark Club with their little umbrella.
Yeah, down by the hot dog hut.
Yeah, I mean it's obvious, right? It's a very obvious. Oh, she's not under his umbrella anymore. So it's funny you said that. But
yes,
I mean right? But the good thing is they never said it. So they just showed her moving from one umbrella to another. Exactly. That's where the genius of this movie comes in. You have to catch that.
100%. So full transparency right now. There is a full-blown police cruiser in my driveway right now with his lights just blaring.
All right.
He's not coming to my house, so that's going on. So just be apprised. Oh, he's walking across to my neighbor's house. He's just using my driveway.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, things are happening.
Is he gonna get that bootleg copy of Sunset Shark Club?
He better not. This is mine. I know it's not quote unquote legal, but he gets it. I'll burn him a copy. I don't care.
You want to wait 5 seconds and we'll get back into it? Well, I can cut that out.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, so there's a lot of understated things in this. Like when we were talking about the umbrella and, it was there, but it wasn't said explicitly. I think they were making a dramatic tale, but it was the 80s, so they had to package it properly.
Yeah.
I think maybe the juxtaposition between those two things, though, is maybe what made it a hard sell.
I mean, I couldn't pitch this to somebody nowadays. I guess I could.
No.
But they wouldn't want to sit there for
I think
137 minutes.
Well, I think if you pitch this, they'd say, "Oh, go to Sci-Fi and they'll make it, and it'll be a spin-off from Sharknado."
Yeah, you're right.
That's the kind of movie that would do it, right? Like the Dog Soldiers guys would get a hold of it, and so that'd be amazing, actually.
Yeah,
I just regret not saying don't do the remake because that'd be amazing.
Neil Marshall, on it.
Get on it. So, Mark.
Yeah.
If you were going to rate this movie out of 10, what would you give it, and what would you give what we call the good, the bad, and the ugly of the movie? So something you loved, something you hated, and something you'd change a little bit.
If I had to give this IMDb rating, I would legit give it an 8 out of 10. Now, just because of how unique it is. Right. We don't see many movies like this. And listen, there's some really awkward music. It's a very long movie, but it's different and it's sensitive. And so, there are some pretty good gore effects in it, which I like. So I'd give it an 8.0. The ugly, I would have to say is, let's see. The ugly, I gotta go with that minute-long guitar riff.
Yeah.
I mean, that one just crushed my soul. And then the good, and then, all right, so what am I saying? Am I at the ugly now, or am I at the bad?
I think you're at the bad. So you did the ugly was the guitar music. The good was just like the movie as a whole, as a concept.
Okay. The bad of the movie is, I mean, it's just it's too long.
Yeah.
It ruminates, sure. Like it lingers, sure. But you could have cut the whole Dennis Dunn alcoholism stalker subplot.
Yeah, 100%.
I mean, it does end with him, falling off the cliff? Yeah, and splatting, but...
It was a good splat, though.
Great splat, so maybe leave that in. Yeah. That's actually my favorite part. But the good is Swayze. Like, he's just on fire. Very, very, very solid performance, and everything was on his shoulders for this role. What about you?
So, I would give it as well an 8 just for concept, because like you say, it's something we don't see often every day. The good to me was Swayze and Potts. I would have loved to see them in other movies. I thought their chemistry was white hot.
Oh yeah, unbelievable.
Very, very. The bad, again, I would agree with the time. It was a little bit long of a run, and I think if they just would have cut it a little bit, keep the energy going, it could have beat Top Gun at the box office that opening weekend.
I agree.
And then the ugly, the one thing I'd change. It's funny you mentioned the guitar work. What I would have done is instead of giving Steve Morse some scoring and then intermixing some other songs with there, in '86 I would have given one band the soundtrack. Say, we want you to write an album that's going to be the soundtrack to this movie, and then I would have given someone from that band the Brad Savage role. So put a young Bon Jovi in as Brad Savage.
Wow. Yeah, that'd be great.
You get like an MTV tie-in, and then that's the marketing for it.
Bon Jovi could have done that role.
Right? Or like, who's the guy from Poison? Brett Michaels?
Yeah.
Him in there.
I do think that role was a bit underwritten.
Yeah, like I just feel it was just there.
They almost didn't need the third.
No, I think they only had the third is so that Swayze wouldn't have been alone. Mitch's death.
Yeah.
But he had Annie Potts. Like, Chad had Debbie, and so you didn't really need Pete Waters there.
Yeah. And then at the end, he's just... Yeah, I don't know about that. It was weird. And then they kind of got rid of him in the middle of the movie. Remember that? He's like, hey, I'm going to go check on the Jeep.
Well, he kind of hooks up with that girl, right? And so they bring that, like, the
volleyball player.
One time, they said, yeah, where's Waters? And then Mitch was like, where Waters is. And they kind of give that nod, like, oh, yeah. And kind of, he's hooked up with that townie again.
Yeah. Did you like that subplot? The volleyball scene wasn't necessary.
No, I thought it was really neat that both it and Top Gun had a volleyball scene, but Top Gun definitely did that better. Yeah.
This volleyball scene, the sand, I'm telling you, once again, the sand was just too deep.
Yeah.
Well, this was fun, 100%. Man. I'm so happy that you told me about this movie. Now I know about it. Now I've watched it several times. Yeah. And now the world is going to hopefully hear more about it. And this one, unlike Youngblood, we can actually stream. So look it up and you can stream it online.
Yeah, absolutely. It's there. And again, you would find no better if you're Here's my final thoughts on this. If you want to impress a girl that you're trying to court, you'll find no better trilogy of movies than Red Dawn, Youngblood, and The Sunset Shark Club.
Oh yeah. Throw in some Sharks in Sweden and Icebreaker.
Oh.
Wait, Sharks in Sweden. Wait, have we done an Ice Cold trilogy yet? We've done Icebreaker and Cliffhanger.
Right, we haven't done an Ice Cold trilogy yet.
So we got to finish our Ice Cold trilogy now.
So I would say Die Hard 2.
Yeah, let's do it.
He stabs a guy with an icicle, man.
Oh no, and there's a snowmobile chase, which we've talked about.
Snowmobile chase.
All right, and it's Rennie Harlan, so it fits with our Cliffhanger.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Wait, oh man, Rennie Harlan directed both those movies.
Oh,
how unbelievable is he?
Incredible.
And he also did Long Kiss Goodnight, which is very cold.
Long Kiss Goodnight is fantastic.
So good. We need the Rennie Harlan cold trilogy now.
Yeah, we do. I'm excited about that.
All right, well, this was fun, man. Thank you so much for joining me.
Anytime.
All right, this was awesome. So for me, Mark Hoffmeyer, for Adam Hodgins, this is Movies, Films, and Flicks. We'll see you next week. Ride the wave.